On an extremely sunny afternoon of March 4th, we started our journey to Madras with sheer excitement in our hearts. Sleepless night in the train made us forget the day we boarded. We reached Madras, though a little late, around 12:30 in the night after a 28 hours of journey. We reached Kalakshetra trying to fill ourselves with the views that the streets of Madras had to offer. Our morning started with rituals which made us proud and conscious about our rich intangible culture and heritage which we experienced at Kalakshetra. We had our breakfast and then headed our way towards the Kalamkari workshop unit where Mrs. Indra and Mr. Venkatesh were all geared up to orient us for the workshop.
இது எப்படி சொல்கிறேன்னு பாருங்கள். இது இப்படி போட்டுட்டு எல்லோ கலர் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா அப்படி நிறுத்திடலாம். அதான் நம்ம கரெக்டாக அளவு சொல்கிறத விட இந்த கலர் வந்து எல்லோயிஷாக மாறிடுச்சுன்னா அவ்வளோதான், போதும், நிறுத்திடலாம். குழன்னு போடக்கூடாது.
Kalamkari is an age-old traditional Indian art form of hand painting on textiles which dates back to 3000 BCE. It originated in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. It has two forms, namely Sri Kalahasti, the Hindu style, and Machilipatnam, the Persian style. For 1 meter of fabric, one needs 30 grams of myrobalan powder mixed with half liter of buffalo milk. It is imperative to keep in mind that the milk used must not be boiled. The cloth is thoroughly soaked in this mixture. The cloth soaked in myrobalan powder and milk is then all set for drying. It is evenly dried in sunlight by placing it on the sand. Hanging of the cloth on the wires for drying is not practiced as this might leave some impressions on the cloth. The cloth is then placed for a day in sunlight and thus is dried. The cloth is then used for painting after almost 2 months after the procedure is completed. A bamboo stick is taken and then the outer surface of the stick is scraped out as the strength of the bamboo lies inside the outer surface. The stick is then wrapped around with a woolen thread. Normal thread is then tied on the woolen thread for the kalam which is used for dipping in kasim. This is done for creating tightness for the kalam which needs to be used for minute detailed works. For the kalam that is used to apply the colors, only woolen thread works. Wrapping of the thread involves wrapping it with a shape of 8 and then all along the pointed tip of the kalam in a similar way. The cloth is first burnished with the help of the burnishing stone to remove the dust and dirt that is accumulated on it. After the cloth is cleaned, borders are laid out on the cloth and a sketch is prepared on it. Kalam is dipped in the kasim which is prepared and stored. The kalam is then used on a cloth to create an outline of the sketch. The kalam allows one to manage the pressure that is to be exerted on it in order to get thin or thick lines on the cloth as per the choice. Kasim is used for outlining in Kalamkari. The ingredients that are used in the preparation of kasim are rusted iron, palm jaggery, normal jaggery, and water. These are soaked in water for 10 to 15 days and then the kasim is obtained from this. In this period of 15 days, the iron rust and jaggery reacts with each other. When the outline is drawn on the cloth, the kasim then further reacts with the presence of myrobalan in the cloth, producing a black color. Following this, the rusted iron is then removed from the soaked mixture. It is then strained in order to allow the settling down of the impurities in water and thus kasim is ready to use. Mud or plastic containers are recommended for storing kasim. Alum water is applied on the cloth once the kasim is dried. Here, alum water acts as a mordant and is thus applied on the areas where one wants red color to be seen. After the alum is dried, the cloth is washed in the running water to remove any excess material on the cloth, which also includes dust and dirt. After washing, the cloth is dried evenly. Preparation of alum involves 100 grams of alum powder in 1 liter of water. It is then thoroughly mixed. This alum solution is then used for generating colors in the fabric. One needs to apply it where one wants colors. Alum brings out the color while boiling and thus acts as a mordant. Traditionally, red, yellow, blue, green, and black were the only colors used in Kalamkari. Once the cloth is dried, it is all set to boil and gain red color. For this, the cloth is dipped into a mixture of manjashta powder and water and then slow boiled. The ratio for this is 100 grams manjashta in 6 liters of water. The boiling is done from slow to medium for about 15 minutes. One needs to stir it so as to ensure that the color is evenly settled on the cloth. The cloth is then washed immediately after boiling. After washing, the cloth is then dried. It is then dipped in milk, soaked in for a few minutes, and then washed again. The cloth is then again sun dried evenly by laying it on the floor. For preparation of yellow dye, add myrobalan flour in boiling water for 15 minutes. The proportion given is for 1 liter of water, add 100 grams of myrobalan flour. Leave this overnight. After a day, remove the excess impurities, which in case of yellow dye is the myrobalan flower petals. After this, mix 1 liter of water with 5 grams of alum. Mix this alum water with the prepared yellow color. Use it for dyeing the cloth by mixing it thoroughly. This dye lasts for a long time and can be stored in normal room temperatures in tight containers. When using it to dye the cloth, remove the layer that is created on it before using. The cloth is then again washed and dried in shade to avoid the fading of the color. Simultaneously, blue color is obtained from indigo, which is then mixed with alum during its application on the cloth.